Well, doing good. Looking forward to this race here at Texas. Yeah, so far we've seen these couple guys up front, Peyton Howell and Matt Lee, kind of picking up where they left off a little bit. 29:45 and 29:48 at the moment. But they've been running well this last few weeks. Yeah, look. Yeah, there's only one name I'm not seeing on the list, and that's the last couple weeks winner, Anthony Navarro. So looks like he will be missing this week's race. Opens it up for some of our other truckers here to maybe take advantage and get some all-important points for that championship. Yeah, if it's anything like practice, we should be looking at 29.4, 29.5 to take the pole here. Speaking of qualifying, the fastest qualifying record here in these Camping World trucks is held by Johnny Sauter. Ran a 28.6 a few years ago here. As we see David Bush, the third, up to the provisional after his first lap of a 30.1. Crownover did a 30.25. Tyler Travis, 30.27. Brian Whitney came back with a 29.47. Daniel Hindre with a 29.99 jumps up into 15th.
Apologies there. I was muted again. So here we are. There's Matt Lee in the 4 truck. Looks to be on the pole here with less than a minute to go. Brian Whitney second, Clayton White third, Peyton Howell in fourth, and Tyler Travis currently in fifth. Tim Henderson is on the racetrack here with a chance to try to take that pole position away. Chase Johnson, that's a newer name that we're seeing here, just getting onto the racetrack. He might have time to put down one lap, but... Oh, and Henderson might have got the wall there as he came across.
Like a good field of 20 trucks.
Yeah, it's looking like 20 trucks showing up here for this one. It's going to be fun here. Texas is, like we said, it's a pretty unique track in comparison to a lot of the other mile and a halves, with the banking being so different on turns 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4. The weather right now for the race is 65 degrees. Track temp also 65. So pretty cool here. Shouldn't be affecting it. Should help these guys get a little bit more grip out of it, I should say. Partly cloudy. A beautiful night though for racing here as we jump into the starting grid. Matt Lee on the pole here. Brian Whitney in second. Clayton White third. Peyton Howell fourth. Tyler Travis in fifth. Derek Rice in sixth. Bladen Edwards, Tristan Evil, Jeremy Kors, Ron Holmes, rounding out your top 10.
Row 6 is Kerry Moore and Daniel Hindre. Row 7, Jeff Travis and David Bush. Row 8, Anthony Crownover, Chris Mason, Chase Johnson, and Cody Porter in 17th and 18th. Jeremy Garand and Tim Henderson round out the field of 20 trucks.
As we wait for these guys to get gridded up here, just under a minute before they start rolling up off of the pit lane. Tell you what, man, 125 laps at Texas. It's about 45 laps again on a tank of gas. So looking at that kind of two-stop range. We'll have to see,
Yeah, definitely. And you got to be thinking, if you're good at these Speedway type tracks, this is going to be probably one of the last ones you really get to before that break. Because we have Richmond next week, which is, the 3/4 mile. So.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast. Some short track racing with these guys. Some of the best in the business about ready to get rolling.
Yeah, while we have a minute, kind of go over the points a little bit. We have Tristan Evil, who's sitting on top right now with 313 points. Brian Whitney in second, not too far behind with 298. David Bush the third with 290. And the top 4 racers have competed in all 8 of the races so far this year. When you get down to the 13th spot, that's going to be your break. You're looking at from 11th with is Anthony Emmerich with 239 points to 14th with Chris Mason of 228. They kind of have a little bit of a comfortable lead because they are 21 points ahead of the 15th truck. So some of these guys have a lot of work to do in these last 4 races.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough sailing for some of these guys, but with a track like Richmond coming up next week, things could definitely flip upside down. It'll be interesting to see how these last 5 races play out before the reset, before the playoffs, the chase get going here. But we're about to get going here at Texas Motor Speedway. We are fired up. We are fueled up. We are ready to tighten up those belts and get her going here. Pace truck's going to make that hard left turn. And under the lights.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out. We are racing in Texas for the Sticker Cabana Texas 2-Step 125. And look at you, already see some movement. People dropping down as already 3 wide, looks like in the back with Tristan
3 wide
Evil.
towards the back, yeah.
Kerry Moore was up involved in that. Man, there's already so much action here happening. Everybody's spreading out, fanning out. The track is so wide through 1 and 2, but you really want to rock that bottom side, or at least maybe the second lane here in turns 3 and 4. Just because how much speed you lose at turn 1, you might not have to let off in these first couple of laps in turns 3 and 4. So you see a side-by-side battle there with Bladen Edwards and Jeremy Kors.
Yeah, definitely. These first few laps, you're not going to have to let off too much until these trucks get that speed built in. Once they get that speed built in, though, you're going to probably have to let off a little bit, otherwise you might run over the trucks in front of you.
Brian Whitney had a little bit of a slide there in turns 1 and 2. He tries to work on the back bumper there of Derek Rice. Not far behind him, 5th place, Tristan Evil. You mentioned our points leader. Just cruising solidly, staying consistent. Right behind him, Clayton White, not even a foot behind him going into turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like Clayton White might have qualified better than he wanted to. Backed up a little bit, let some of these front trucks break the lines out, and he'll mind his time back there in 6th place.
Yeah, ain't no problem with that. As you see Tristan Evil working the 76 of Brian Whitney, no problem with that at all, especially when you don't know what to expect when you get everybody in together for that first start of the race. Turn 1 is wild here, as you see a little bit sideways there for that 53 Clayton White. Catches it coming up off of turn number 2, but can't be good for that right rear tire. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in on Facebook and on YouTube. Go ahead and drop in the chat who's your favorite driver, who you hoping to see win this one. We're pretty early on, still 120 laps to go, but who's your early picks, guys?
It looks like we have 3 trucks kind of breaking away at the moment. Matt Lee, Peyton Howell, and Derek Rice. Tristan Evil's leading that second group. of 4 trucks.
Clayton White on the inside now of Jeremy Kors, who's actually making that outside lane work a little bit better than maybe I expected. We've seen plenty of times where that inside lane is the most desirable place to be, especially at a track like Texas, where you can't quite get the momentum coming up off of turn number 2. But now as Clayton White works to the inside of Brian Whitney, it's just tough to get that run up off of turn number 2 like we've been able to see at a track like Atlanta last week or Las Vegas a few weeks ago. It's a lot tougher to make that outside work just because of the difference kind of in speed and also the freshness of the track.
Yeah, you definitely want to try and carry as much speed as you can, and like you said, that lower lane is with the flatter banking kind of does away with that a little bit. As we have Elijah Harris cheering for Whitney there in that blue 76 Chevy.
Appreciate everybody tuning in here. It's going to be a blast here so far. It's been action-packed as we've got racing within the top 5. We've got racing all throughout the course of this racetrack. And one guy I'd like to bring up here, Cody Porter, he's currently our biggest mover of the day. Well, now Jeremy Kors is also up 5 positions in 4th place, but 13th spot after starting in the back. Looking to take another spot away from Anthony Crownover. We'll see how that plays out going through the next couple of laps. Looks like Crownover might have tagged the apron there for a second, but yeah, Jeremy Kors also up 5 spots from the start of the race, and after only 8 laps, that's pretty impressive at a track that people say it's tough to pass at.
Yeah, you got to be thinking some of these guys are trying to fill out their trucks a little bit, settle in for these long green flags runs we seem to have with this group of guys.
It looks like the 17, Tristan Evil got the apron there just a touch, but doesn't seem to slow him down. And yeah, this is an incredibly talented group of guys. These guys have been able to have a couple of caution-free races throughout the course of this season, and that hasn't taken away from any of the racing action on track. I mean, we've still got close battles all over as we look at Jeff and Tyler Travis over here, right in front of Crownover at Porter. This gaggle of trucks down the back straightaway. Almost a little bit of contact. That angle looked close going down into turn 3.
Yeah, these guys are racing close, trying to make some room somewhere, but they're all just figuring out where to run. As you see Jeff Travis there trying to move his way around Tyler Travis there.
And there's Brian Whitney. After starting up front, he's down 7 spots. He's not able to keep that truck on the bottom through turns 1 and 2, and you can really see how that's affecting his runs through 3 and 4. As there's Crownover almost looking to make it 3 wide, but not quite enough space there as he works the outside of the 88 truck.
Yeah, we've seen these guys do it before, 3 and 4 wide, but like you said, looks like Whitney there just is not finding the line that he liked to run earlier.
3 wide up off of turn number 2. Almost a little bit of contact there between Daniel Hindre and Anthony Crownover there, but there's Cody Porter getting a couple more spots. Almost a little more contact between that 71 and 27 truck out there on the racetrack. Side by side up in front. Brian Whitney's going to lose another spot, and with that outside lane, I wouldn't be surprised if he loses a few more here. Doesn't seem to be losing too much time to those guys behind him, but that cannot be good for your tires being on that unused racing surface.
No, it looks like he's trying to make the high line work, and it's just not working very well at the moment.
Well, he's going to lose 2 more here through turns 3 and 4 down the front straightaway. Matt Lee has not been able to get away from Peyton Howell.
Yeah, Peyton Howell is definitely giving Matt Lee all he can handle at the moment. As Derek Rice is starting to close in on them as well.
Yeah, obviously with the newer track surface, I mean, this track is pretty weathered, and I think the way that they did it, they ground it down in such a way that it wasn't going to be totally grippy and, stuff like most new repaves are. So while it is a bit newer of a surface, it's it's not going to be as conducive to the tire wear that we saw at a place like Atlanta, and it's not going to cause people to slide quite as much. So you likely won't see him get as strung out as we did at Atlanta, but
Yeah, but like you said, even though we did have a couple strung out races, they were still racing all over the track. So.
Oh yeah, and this is a perfect example of that. You got 3 trucks within half a second of each other. Peyton Howell got within maybe 3 feet of the back bumper of that Ford truck, and the air got crossed over. He got stuck in the wake there, had to let off the gas a little bit.
All right, man.
Caution is out. We've got an issue on the racetrack here. We'll take a look towards the back of the pack, try to figure out what happened. Brian Whitney with a problem. So he's going to park it there and jump to the pits. Let's go ahead and take a look, see what happened to the 76 truck. Going into 3. Cuts down to the bottom. Oh, whoa, the 9 truck. The 9 truck was...
9 truck of Tyler Travis.
It was already sideways. Oh, down to the inside is Cody Porter trying to get there. Makes a little bit of contact, turns him sideways, almost has it saved, and then nowhere to go for Brian Whitney, who jumps down to the bottom, thinking that car was going to stay up top. And that is unfortunate, but we will jump back to live as we've got pit stops happening. Almost everybody coming in. A couple guys stay out. Ron Holmes, Chase Johnson.
Yeah, looks like these guys that were in the back might be staying out. But like we said before, you know, with all these green flag runs, might be better to come in and stay on the same pit strategy, but you never know.
Yeah, only 4 sets of tires in the pits this time around, so one thing to keep an eye on is these guys pit now on lap 18. It looks like Matt Lee was the first one off of the pit lane, so he's going to inherit 3rd place. But Ron Holmes, Chase Johnson, we mentioned how this track isn't as abrasive as some of the other ones we've raced on so far this year, but we'll have to see if these guys do continue to stay out. Are they going to get swallowed up by this pack, or is it going to be maybe a little bit more equal?
I imagine they're going to get swallowed up pretty quickly with the talented drivers that are right behind them on fresh tires and everything. Yeah.
As you see,
I mean, they're probably
fakes them out.
They're probably gonna still be net positive on the track position anyway, which is probably what they're going for at this point.
Yeah, Ron Holmes up 9, Chase Johnson up 15 at this point. These guys are going to double up and get ready for the restart here. After 18 laps, we got a restart on lap number 20, I believe.
Yeah, new driver to this league, and Chase Johnson. Looks like he came over from Martin Sports in that lunatic squad that seemed to be sponsoring a lot of the drivers in this league. So
through 3 and 4, the pace truck's going to make that hard left turn, get off of the racing surface and let these boys at it. Chase Johnson and Ron Holmes on the front row here. Matt Lee has led almost every lap so far. Peyton Howell right on his outside, and green flag immediately. Ron Holmes gets on the gas.
he wasted no time in getting that jump. He saw Matt Lee behind him and decided he needed every advantage he could.
And he's going to get swallowed up. There's Matt Lee going up top. Peyton Howell down to the bottom. Those two are going to come side by side, coming up off of turn number 2. Almost, but Ron Holmes stays low. Derek Rice trying to get down to the inside of that 33. Hits the apron, gets a little bit sideways, but keeps her together. Side by side are the two trucks on older tires, and everybody behind them has got to be hating this. Derek Rice, Jeremy Cords side by side now. And there's Ron Holmes has to check up big time there. Everybody taking evading action almost into the side of Tristan Evil.
Ron Holmes
Tristan Evil's around.
Tristan Evil's spinning.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Caution's out.
Oh my goodness, what an avoidance there by, I believe, Chris Mason to get past that 17. That was a tight battle there, a tight deal there with Ron Holmes, and
looks like Tristan Evil saved it as much as he could. Doesn't seem to have got too much damage to that truck. Looks like he just had the back end knocked out from under him, and Clayton White right behind him. Ducks down to the inside.
whoo, buddy. That 6 truck.
Man. Didn't hit a wall. Just got a little loose. Come in for some tires and he should be good to go.
And
That was some good driving there.
yeah, good driving by everybody there. Good job by Tristan Evil to keep it out of the wall, keep it away from the rest of the field here, and we catch up to the pace truck once again on our second caution of the night. There's Ron Holmes coming into the pits there.
Yeah, it looks like Chase Johnson stayed out. Well, while we're under caution, we have a minute here. Let's go ahead and talk about our race sponsor, Sticker Cabana. Sticker Cabana was born in 2013 by two very creative, driven, entrepreneurial beach bums. Motivated to create their own business, it wasn't long after that Sticker Cabana was created. While on the beach, of course, hence the name. Quality vinyl decals in over 1,000 designs on sticker display racks all over the country. These displays could be your next big seller. All of the company's products are 100% made in the USA. Contact them at www.stickercabana.com.
And they got a beautiful race truck there on the 53 of Clayton White. These guys,
yeah, you definitely won't miss that under the lights.
These guys worked the second caution of the day, currently on lap 23. Matt Lee is your leader. Peyton Howell in second. Chase Johnson has stayed up in third place for now. Has elected still not to pit, so. See that 04 Cody Porter down on the inside. It's up 12 spots from where he started. Well, getting to 1 degree this time. Matt Lee seems pretty antsy there as he's getting up in front of the pace truck there, trying to maybe mess with old Brett Bodine or whoever they've got in the pace truck now. But Peyton Howell hoping to get a phenomenal restart here and try to stay with the 04 or the 4 truck rather of Matt Lee. It's been a tough task so far, but let's see how it goes here on this dive into turn number 1.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Chase Johnson there. He started to get swallowed up pretty quick and then was able to kind of maintain his position after that. So we'll see what happens on this next restart. Looks like Brian Whitney has put his truck on the hauler and is calling it a night.
Packing it up, ready to go home there after just a tough deal. Qualified on the front row and lost a bunch of spots, got caught up in something that wasn't his doing, and you got a feel for that. But the race goes on. We've got a restart coming up here after just a couple more short corners. Truck's gonna make that hard left, and we're gonna go at it again here. Peyton Howell and Matt Lee. Green flag. Matt Lee gets going pretty early there, and Peyton Howell's going to have to fall in behind him, not able to stay with him. Derek Rice still side by side with that 57 on the outside. Chase Johnson will see what his tires do as there's Cody Porter looking to the outside of Jeremy Kors here. Coming up off of turn number 2, he's going to have about maybe a fender on the 57 truck with a big push from the 97 going down into turn number 3.
And 97 jumps right behind him and gives him a push. Now he jumps to the outside after Cody Porter makes that pass on that 57.
Yeah, it looked like 57 got a little bit sideways there after that push going into turn number 3, but keeps her straight, keeps her going. He's going to lose a couple more spots, though.
16 of
we
Bladen
are side
Edwards.
by side for the lead. Sorry to cut you off there, but Peyton Howell trying to work that inside lane. He might have something here.
Yeah, just like he about did earlier. This time here.
Oh, into the wall is Matt Lee. He scrapes it a little bit.
Able to make that pass. Matt Lee's going to have to fall in behind at the moment. As Cody Porter looks to the inside of Derek Rice.
Porter trying to go almost from worst to first today. Going to complete that pass on Derek Rice. Maybe should have it done through 3 and 4. Jeremy Kors looks to get down in there and follow him. Matt Lee trying to shake out, see what he's got, see if there's any damage done from that wall contact, but...
Yeah, we saw it earlier on that last restart. Peyton Howell got almost within a couple feet of him and then wasn't able to make that pass. This time here he got right where he wanted to be and was able to complete that pass on the inside.
Yeah, Matt Lee potentially just trying to get as much of the racetrack as he could, trying to keep that momentum up with that run up on the outside. Maybe just got a little bit too much, scraped the wall, but it doesn't seem to be hurting his truck as he's still within a couple tenths of that 52 truck, Peyton Howell out in front.
Yeah, it looks like it didn't do too much damage. Still a long ways to go.
Tristan Evil trying to work his way back up through the field after a slide he had there in turns 1 and 2. Looking through the middle almost there. Oh, is he going to look through the middle? The 57 truck doesn't give him a whole lot of space to try it, so he's going to try to fall in behind the 88. 57 obviously on older tires than everybody else here, but...
It looks like Tristan's going to be able to complete that pass down this front stretch here.
Ron Holmes on slightly fresher tires than everybody else too, having well, made it about a lap after that initial caution. But
yeah, it looks like he last pitted on lap 22 with Tristan Evil there. That 71 truck of Daniel Hendry just had the fastest lap last time by.
Yeah, 29.82 on pace with the leader, Peyton Howell. Howell's fastest lap as Matt Lee is right up on his rear bumper, and Cody Porter is just a couple of feet behind them. This pack is almost condensing once again as Porter looks to the outside. Matt Lee to the inside in turn 1. Slides up just a little bit, but...
You see these guys all running different lines trying to get that little bit of run. You see Matt Lee likes to stay down a little bit, and Cody Porter keeps looking a little higher, trying to get any inch he can to catch Matt Lee.
Yeah, Matt Lee in that Martin Sports Toyota. Cody Porter in the Money Shift Media Ford. We know we got the same number on the sides, but Matt Lee is in the 4 truck. Cody Porter is the 04. And, well, that 04 is filling up the mirror of Matt Lee right now. That's got to be causing him a little bit of stress there as he tries to get back and race this, or chase down the race leader.
Yeah, if they can line up, they probably could make some ground on Peyton Howell there and catch back up to him. As we see Jeremy Kors and Derek Rice almost going side by side here again.
Derek Rice just trying to get that nose there on the inside, just enough to get a side draft so he can position himself correctly down into turn number 3 and 4. That's kind of the way you want to make passes here. It's really tough to get side by side in turn 1 and really make it work. So you've got to try to set them up off of turn 2 so you can get down to the inside through 3 and 4, or maybe the outside if you've got the momentum for it. But Derek Rice down to the inside, trying it once again.
Yeah, it looks like he gets almost to the rear wheel, and then Jeremy Kors just drives away. But Derek Rice is going to have his hands full shortly with the 16 of Bladen Edwards.
Yeah, Bladen Edwards all over the back bumper of that 20. A couple of Martin Sports trucks there racing side by side. Almost side by side as they go down into turn number 1. That 16 is going to try a little bit wider of an entry, maybe pinch that thing down a little bit more on exit to straighten it out. Not quite enough on the momentum to get back side by side with that 20 truck, but doing pretty good so far.
Now it looks like he's going to get sucked up almost to his rear bumper, and then doesn't have enough room to make a pass. But if he keeps it up and keeps closing in, he'll get it set up eventually, and you'll see him pass going probably into corner 3 there, unless he can make it the outside work.
Yeah, he's really trying to get that outside to work. He's looking like Jimmy Johnson from the IndyCar race today, but it's not quite enough on entry to turn 1 to get within that side draft range and be able to slow that truck in front of him down enough to get side by side down the back straightaway. Jeremy Kors under pressure now from Derek Rice.
Trying to figure out which way to go. You see these guys get so close, and like we've said a bunch of times, you know, catching them is one thing, trying to pass them is something else. I just see him get right to the rear bumper. But that outside just is going to carry the 16 a little bit further.
Oh, a little bit loose there is the 71, Daniel Hindra, on the inside of the 16, but both of those guys get through it okay. It seemed like the 16 kind of saw that maybe on his, or maybe a spotter told him, because he gave a little bit of extra room there through 3 and 4. There's the 16 trying that outside on Derek Rice, and this time he's going to make it work.
Yeah, it looks like he was able to get in that draft, and he's going to get pulled up right behind Jeremy Kors.
Seems like Derek Rice yields just a little bit. Now a massive run for the 16. Bladen Edwards onto the back of Jeremy Kors. Almost gets up next to the wall, using up all the racetrack he can. And there's the 71.
Yeah, Daniel Hendry down to the inside of Derek Rice there, trying to make that pass again. Seems like we've seen it over and over again. As soon as one car or one truck makes a pass, there's a couple more waiting.
Yeah, when you get shuffled out like that, it really kind of kills your momentum. As you see, there's Crownover going to try to get down into the inside of the 20, but not quite enough speed there to get down there. Derek Rice is going to be able to hold that spot down now. Peyton Howell trying to hold off Cody Porter, who's within about a truck length now. Matt Lee at about a half a second behind these guys, but still not too far off of this lead draft or lead battle.
No, we've seen these guys wind up going from back to front and front to back. So nothing's out of the realm of possibilities now with only 41 laps in the books. But
I love this blimp cam because you can really get a good angle of these groups of trucks you've got and the different lines that they run throughout the course of the quarter. Derek Rice getting right up onto the back bumper there of the 71. And there's the side-by-side battle with Jeremy Kors and Bladen Edwards at the left side of the screen here.
And Bladen Edwards almost up to that wall there, too.
Edwards is using up all the racetrack he can. There's side-by-side battle back there with Crownover and Clayton White. Now Jeremy Kors seems to be in that shuffled out position here. Derek Rice likely going to go down to the inside with the 71 and try to push him through and maybe follow him through.
Yeah, it looks like he jumps down to that inside and try and make a run on Jeremy Kors there.
Yeah, Kors tried to get down, realized that the 20 had his nose in there and thought better of it. 43 laps complete. You got to wonder if a guy like Chase Johnson, who hasn't pitted yet, he's actually the only one who hasn't pitted yet, he's got to be getting close to having a pit. It was 45 to 50 laps on a tank of gas, and approaching lap 45 this time by. Even with those couple of caution laps, you got to wonder. It's probably within 5 to 10 laps of pitting.
Yeah, probably pretty close. As we see here again, you know, that 71 to Daniel Hendry and Bladen Edwards side by side again. They passed a few trucks in between them, but now they're right back at it, racing each other again.
71 slides up just a bit. Edwards taking advantage of that. Once again, gets right up next to the wall coming up off of turn number 2. Fantastic stuff here. Race for the lead, still pretty close here. Cody Porter trying to figure out how is he going to get around this 52. He's been able to get to the back bumper, at least within a truck length, and as these tires wear down a little bit, these guys are almost 30 laps after a pit stop. Lap times have fallen off about a second.
Yeah, they're getting pretty close there. You got to be thinking at this point with the green flag run we've had and how everybody's kind of settled down. You got to be trying to make it another like one stop and call it good, but we definitely know that Chase Johnson is in the pits right now, so he'll have to pit at least one more time.
Yeah, and I think everybody at this point is kind of at still a two-stop strategy. With the pit stop at lap 17, it's not going to be able to really change the situation enough to be able to make it to the end on one less stop. So I would anticipate these guys coming in probably 62 to 67-ish. Maybe a little bit later with the caution laps, but after that, they're still going to have to pit around 100, maybe 110 to make it to the end. I might be wrong, thinking 52. No, I was right.
Yeah, it should be about 67 when they start coming in.
Side by side, there's Anthony Crownover trying to work his way up some more through the field. On the inside of that 71 truck, Daniel Hindra right behind the 16, Bladen Edwards, who's put on some massive speed, but still about 2 seconds behind those top three.
Yeah, we'll have to see if anybody has anything for Peyton Howell.
Oh, and we've got contact! Anthony Crownover, hard into the wall. Derek Rice is involved. The 71, Daniel Hindra, was the first to go around there off the front bumper of the 27 truck, and yeah, that's a tough crash. A huge hit there in turns 3 and 4 for a couple of those guys. Well, that changes our pit strategy up.
Well, everybody will come into the pits now.
Yeah, just gets into the back of them and yeah, 71 just comes down the track a little bit across the nose of the 27, and around she goes at that point. Crownover gets into the back of him. Kind of pushes his truck back up towards the outside wall, and Derek Rice locked up, nowhere to go. Jeremy Kors gets sideways trying to avoid this thing. Clayton White getting through. Tristan Evil. Gary Moore. These guys trying to avoid the pit lane to not incur a penalty. But overall, a tough break for all three of those guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw Crownover start to make some ground up towards the front, but Derek Rice had been running up front most of the night. Race off pit road.
Ooh, that was close.
Like Cody Porter
I think he got it. Looked like Peyton Howell tried to
Porter
gas
got
her
it.
up there at the end in that last segment to try to get through, but I think Cody Porter gets away with the race off of pit road.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Up 17 spots from the start. Started 18th in a 20 truck field. That's a pretty good stat to have right there.
Yeah, it looked like he had a little problem qualifying and had to start towards the back, and he's been on the move ever since.
See the 96 truck. Tim Henderson waiting to get his wave around here, sitting behind that pace truck there.
Yeah, a couple laps down, it looks like. It looks like we'll re-rack him, and Cody Porter will be in control when we come to green flag racing. And while Cody Porter's leading the race here, how about we talk about Money Shift Media? Money Shift Media is a sim photography business doing professional pictures for individuals, teams, leagues, and more. We also provide graphic design services to the iRacing community. Visit them at www.moneyshiftmedia.com/sim-photography.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure they're gonna have some nice pictures from this nice race here at Texas. So.
Yeah, these trucks look beautiful under the lights, and yeah, they've been doing great work with their photography throughout the course of this season and with other sim stuff. So definitely hit up that link, check these guys out, and yeah, I mean, be amazed. So we've got these guys looking doubled up here, but lights are still on the pace truck as we wait for the. We get an extra lap so the lapped cars can pit. Obviously, Tim Henderson electing not to, so he can get that wave around. Maybe get one of his 2 laps back and try to salvage some more positions here. Lights are off on the pace truck. 96 is going to go back and get his wave around here. Cody Porter going to restart from the lead for the first time today. After 53 laps, we get the restart on lap 55. Leaving us about 70 to go. I think we're still at a one-stop strategy from here after this pit stop. So,
yeah, definitely.
Be interesting to see if these guys try to stay out and wait for a caution, or if they try to split it in 2.
Yeah, I mean, do you pit a little early, thinking it's going to be a green flag run to the end, or do you stay out and hope there's a caution? Because if there's a caution, pit strategy goes out the window.
For sure, but at the same time, if you want to try to maximize or shorten the amount of time as possible, splitting the thing in 2, limiting your time on extra worn tires might be the way to go. We'll just have to see, though. We've got a lot of laps left in this thing, and it's been pretty crazy so far. We've seen some contact, we've seen some cautions, calamity, and not even halfway yet. Fantastic racing going on. Appreciate everybody tuning in on Facebook and YouTube. Pace truck's going to go in. Cody Porter going to lead him down. Gases are up. Green flag is out, and a nice restart out of that 0-4.
Yeah, got that big run. Peyton Howell is going to have to come and catch him.
Matt Lee at the back of the pack after... Oh, there's sideways as Bladen Edwards' truck gets up next to the wall there with 3 wide down the back straightaway. Tristan Evil's going to get up in front of that 16.
Yeah, Tristan Evil riding almost to the wall.
Clayton White trying to poke the middle, 3 wide, gets a little bit loose there. He's trying to set up his exit to the corner here, gets to the inside of Tristan Evil. Not quite enough to stay with him, though.
Nope, just clears, gets right behind him. Looks like he might be setting something up for a little later in the race.
And I wonder if Matt Lee got that damage repaired, and that's why he's so far back. But he's not going to be far back for long. He's already up into the 8th position, just behind this big pack of trucks that we see, hoping to work his way back up to the front. He just put down the fastest lap of the race with a 29.74.
Yeah, Matt Lee definitely spending a little extra time on pit lane, getting that damage repaired. But looks like it was all worth it, as you said, lay down that fastest lap.
Working the inside now of Bladen Edwards. Got 3 more trucks right in front of him. Right in the crosshairs, Clayton White trying to get a little bit of side draft there off the 97. Jeremy Kors gets up in there deep. Slides up the track just a little bit. Looked like Kerry Moore almost got into the back of him, but everybody getting through okay so far. Matt Lee is he gonna try to make a move here on Moore?
Yeah, Matt Lee's passing trucks left and right. It looks like he's a man on a mission.
He's doing what he can, looking at the outside of that 84 truck. Now back to the inside.
Looks like Jeremy Kors got pushed up out of the way a little bit.
Oh, it's sideways, Clayton White. What a save coming up off of turn 2.
Yeah, you saw how fast Matt Lee and Kerry Moore were trying to take evasive action on that one.
And sideways once again. He might have a problem with that truck. Losing a couple more spots there. Keep an eye on it as he goes down into turns 1 and 2. Looks to be okay so far. But a couple of sketchy moments. A pretty sketchy lap there for the 53 truck.
Yeah, it looks like those fresh tires, he just got on the gas a little bit too fast, but we'll get it settled down and log some laps now and probably make a run towards the front come towards the end when the tires start to wear in.
You saw Kerry Moore go a little bit wide there. Bladen Edward takes advantage.
And Matt Lee almost to the back bumper of Jeremy Kors here. Tristan Evil just in front of him.
The top 2, nose to tail, have gained about 2 seconds on the rest of these guys. Matt Lee trying to minimize that damage, maybe hoping for another caution to get him close, but right on the back bumper now, Tristan Evil for 3rd place.
Yep, jumps down to the inside, going to make that pass coming out of 1 and 2.
He might have him cleared coming up off of 2. Not quite. Evil fights back on the outside as you see side by side now up front. Peyton Howell and Cody Porter. These guys not giving an inch.
Oh, Cody Porter running that low line, Peyton Howell on the high side.
We saw down the back straightaway. Porter was almost on the apron. So Howell is all over the back bumper of the 04 truck.
Yeah, it looks like Anthony Crownover put his truck on the hauler after that last lap incident.
Yeah, Crownover was not happy with the incident on track. Unfortunate end to his day. So we just passed halfway throughout the course of this race. We've still got a heck of a battle for the lead and all sorts of battling going on just behind these guys. A couple seconds back here, we've got a nice gaggle of cars.
Yeah, Matt Lee, Tristan Evil, Bladen Edwards, Jeremy Kors, Kerry Moore, Clayton White just off the end there.
That'll be interesting to see if Matt Lee and the Ford can chase down these leaders, especially as they get side by side, if they do again.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe Tristan Evil will get on his back bumper and start pushing him towards the front. Because if they can work together and close in on some of this time, you know that Matt Lee was one of the fastest trucks we've had on the track, so.
Yeah, and he's cutting down that gap just a little bit now, 1.9 seconds. From just over 2 a couple of laps ago, so we will keep an eye on that. We've got about 14, 15 laps on this green flag run so far.
Yep, and we're getting closer to that all-important decision time of short pitting or not.
Yeah, I mean, if your last pit lap was 51, we went green with on lap 55, so 71 to go. You split it into 35 and 36. That's halfway. That's midway. That's equal stints on both sets of tires to finish the race. But that's provided we don't get a caution. And with the way that these guys have been fighting for real estate on the racetrack, it's there we go. Caution is out. Chris Mason has crashed. I have jinxed it once again. Well,
we keep bringing out that broadcaster jinx and talking about how good these guys are, and here we are 4 cautions later. Yeah, just coming off the corner.
yeah, we'll take a look here. Yep, tightens up off the turn, bounces off the wall, hits the inside wall a ton. Just nothing you can do at that point. When it bounces you off the wall, sends it to the inside. Tough break for him, and
That is not something Peyton Howell and Cody Porter wanted to see.
no, this puts Matt Lee right back behind him. And it's still a one-stopper from here, so it'll be interesting to see if these guys come in, take a set of tires. We only had 4 to start the race, so...
Yeah, it looks like Cody Porter came in. Cody Porter, Kerry Moore, Clayton White, Jeff Travis, David Bush, Ron Holmes, Jeremy Garland, and of course Chris Mason, who was involved in that crash. So it looks like we have about half the field doing one thing and half the field doing the other.
Yeah, we'll have to see how those fresh tires work out. Looks like most of those guys, this is their 3rd pit stop of the race, so should have 1 set of tires left in the bank, but these guys out front, if we get a late race caution, they might be in the catbird seat with an extra set of tires in the pits. Tristan Eagle had to use that extra set after getting after spinning out in turns 1 and 2, but...
Yeah, but look at it this way. If you can get 50 laps on a fuel run, how much fuel can you save? Because right now we're at lap 70. That's, what, 55?
Roughly. I don't think you can make it from here. Just my totally super-duper professional opinion. I think 5 laps is just a little bit too much to save. But who knows? Some of these guys might come out here and surprise me.
Well, we've seen Cody Porter drive from the back to the front. Looks like he's going to be in 6th position. So, 3rd row. But more important than that, Matt Lee and Peyton Howell are on the front row again.
Yeah, that's a pretty familiar sight. Peyton Howell and Matt Lee were racing it out pretty hard early on. Obviously, we saw Matt Lee go up and scrape the wall just a little bit. Came in, got that damage repaired, and worked his way right back through the field. Now sitting in P2. Gonna have to see what he's got. Obviously, he won earlier in the season, I believe, at Vegas. So, if not auto.
Yeah. Yeah, Peyton Howell and Matt Lee, if they're looking to make the chase, they're going to have to take advantage of every point they can get.
Matt Lee running on the apron there, potentially playing some mind games with his opponents. Or maybe shooting a text to somebody or something, just doesn't want to get in the way. Who knows? I'm kidding. Nobody texts and drives here. So Peyton Howell, right up behind that Toyota Tundra, maybe not so Toyota Tundra pace truck. Looks like a kind of a Chevy front. But we got a couple of Toyotas in the top 5. Looks like 3 out of our top 5 are Toyotas. So seems like a pretty good time to bring up the McGee family dealership of Claremont. So when we look back on our 40-year history in Claremont, we're proud of our tremendous track record and the name we've built for ourselves. As a family-owned business, we treat all of our customers like family because we want you to grow with us into the next 40 years. When people tell us they've come from Hartford, Norwich, Rutland, Nashua, Laconia, White River Junction, Lebanon, and Concord just to see us, we couldn't be more pleased with how far we've come. You can buy a new Toyota or a quality used car just about anywhere these days, but we'd like to think people come to McGee Toyota of Claremont because we offer a better experience. Appreciate them jumping on with us, and like we said, we got 3 out of the top 5 are Toyotas, 5 out of the top 10, so the more dominant brand so far in this race, but we've got 55 to go, like you said.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We got 12 trucks on the lead lap. Peyton Howell's in control of this restart as the pace truck jumps to the inside.
Green flag back out. Peyton Howell with a fantastic jump over Matt Lee. Lee tried to take a bump from the 16 truck of Edwards and now drops in behind. A couple of car lengths is the advantage already going down into turn number 1.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times on these restarts. You get that jump and you're already off, to a couple tenths seconds of the lead. So, but Matt Lee's right back behind him. Tristan Evil behind that, and Bladen Edwards in 4th.
Yeah, Cody Porter all the way up to 5th place right now after taking a pit stop that time around. Pretty good restart for him there as he tries to chase down this train of 4 right in front of him. Jeremy Corey's not too far behind him, under pressure from Kerry Moore, who's sideways going through turn 2 there. Look at that drift. He's still sideways.
Still drifting. Clayton White takes the high side and says he doesn't want to be a part of that if he gets turned.
Man, what a save there by that Michelob Ultra Chevy Silverado being driven by Kerry Moore there. Still racing pretty hard up front. Cody Porter up to 4th place now. Next target is Tristan Evil, but there's Matt Lee looking to the outside of Peyton Howell, hoping to get a run there off of 2, but Peyton Howell slides up, unable to get that run. Right to
Cody
the back
Porter to the
bumper, though.
inside.
He's going to look down to the bottom. Peyton Howell gives him plenty of space there, decides not to block it. He's going to lose the lead. Cody Porter's going to try to follow through on the bottom.
Yeah, Cody Porter made that move on Tristan Evil and saw Matt Lee make a move and is right behind him. Cody Porter to the inside of Matt Lee going for the lead.
Gets clear coming up off of 2. Matt Lee back to 2nd place. Cody Porter on the freshest tires in the field. Or first on the freshest tires, rather, I should say. But it's about 17 laps tire difference, and that is really showing, as he was 3.5 tenths quicker that last time around. This time 3 tenths quicker. So there goes Peyton Howell to the inside of Matt Lee.
Yeah, I remember what I said about might be able to make it to the end. He is definitely not saving fuel. He is using those tires and is making his run as he pulls away from the field.
Yeah, he knows the game he's playing. He wants it to go green from here on out. He wants to make that last pit stop. He wants to try to get as big of an advantage on these fresh tires as he can. That way, when he comes off or comes into pit, takes his last set of tires, he can just sail off. The bigger the gap now, the better off you'll be.
Well, you also got to think that right now, these other trucks have to pit at lap 99 to 100. So he doesn't have to pit then. He could make up a little more time and pit after them and make it to the end on the freshest tires.
But at the same time, if he gets a massive gap here, he's already 8 tenths out front. He gets a massive gap here and decides to come in when everybody else does to prevent that undercut, he more than likely will retain that gap. He's already been one of the fastest trucks we've seen so far today. So I think the strategy game is in the favor of that 04 truck right now, but we're going to have to see. Maybe the with racing like that, Clayton White getting sideways there, a caution is definitely not out of the realm of possibility. These guys have been on the absolute edge of control all night.
Yeah, we've seen it every time they come in to get fresh tires. They get a little too comfortable with the wear they had before and start sliding a little bit.
Now still trying to work that 4 truck of Matt Lee. Down the back straightaway, we see a little bit of 3 wide action going on there. Jeff Travis trying to get down to the inside of the 84 truck. 84 almost slides up to the 17 of Tristan Evil. These guys are sliding everywhere, and this is great stuff.
Yeah, they're all over the back bumpers of each other trying to figure out what line works so they can get it at another place. Looks like Tristan Evil's backpedaling at the moment.
Yeah, all the way
he
back
started
to
up there in 3rd place and is floating back towards the back at the moment.
Yeah, all the way back to 8th place now after being up in the top 3 earlier in this run. Cody Porter's got about a 2-second lead. Matt Lee trying to defend that 2nd position from Peyton Howell. Howell just cannot get to the bottom and get that run that he wants. He's going to try that outside once again and up the racetrack just a little bit as Matt Lee. Peyton has to react.
Yeah, Matt Lee just floated it a little bit.
Crosses over
Peyton
the bottom.
Howell had to make it.
Not quite enough momentum to get to that fender, but he is doing absolutely everything he can to try to keep it. Clayton White still sideways back here.
Yeah, if you're Cody Porter, you got to love seeing what you're seeing in your rearview mirror at the moment.
Yeah, these guys are all out racing for 2nd place. Peyton Howell finally forces his way down to the inside, but he has to slide up. He's going to lose 3 spots in the corners. Clayton White and Blaine Edwards go to the top side. Around goes Clayton White after contact from, I believe, Kerry Moore.
Kerry Moore shifted down right into the quarter panel of Clayton White and spun him around.
Man. This racing has been absolutely insane, and these guys are not giving an inch, and unfortunately Clayton White got the worst end of that, it would seem. We're going to take a look, see what happened here. Yeah, you see Kerry Moore coming down the racetrack, might try to get a better angle of it. Clayton does a 360, trying to get her straightened out, and just too much spinning momentum, noses it into the inside wall, and that's a tough break for him. He was loose, but fast.
Yeah, we had 6 cars or 6 trucks right there under a blanket, basically, and they were all moving around, so it was bound to happen eventually.
Take a look here, coming up off of turn number 2. Kerry Moore slots in behind. Oh, looks like this is a lap. Try this now. Yeah, they're checking up in front of him. Clayton gets off the gas there as the 16 goes up top. He goes down to the bottom, and Kerry maybe doesn't know that he's 3 wide and just jets down to the bottom side and unfortunately clips, gets into the 53 and turns him into the outside wall.
Looks like it all started with that little bit of checkup from Matt Lee and Peyton Howell trying not to run over each other. And unfortunate for Clayton White. Like you said, he had a fast truck.
Jeff Travis and Ron Holmes staying out. David Bush looks to be the first one off of the pit lane of the ones who came in. And Cody Porter probably did not want to see that, especially given the fact that could very well be his last set of tires. A lot of these guys probably coming in for their last set of tires. Jeff Travis, Ron Holmes only pitted 3 times. Matt Lee, Bladen Edwards also only 3. Peyton Howell, and Jeremy Kors only with 3 stops so far. So we know they've at least got 1 set of tires left in the pits.
Yeah, it looks like David Bush didn't take tires because his pit stop was only 5 seconds. So it looks like it might have just been fuel only to get him towards the front.
That's not a bad call. Especially with how the cautions have flown throughout the course of this race, it's not a bad bet to think we might get another one here at the end. You might want to save that set of tires for the end rather than put it on now and be forced to put 41 laps on it.
Yeah, so we got these 3 trucks up front right at the moment. Jeff Travis, Ron Holmes, and David Bush. all on older tires. And then you have Cody Porter, Matt Lee, Bladen Edwards. And it looks like Kerry Moore was able to get out there pretty quick too.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this shakes out as we approach 41 laps to go this time around. Should be getting the restart with 40 laps to go here at Texas. And this racing has, I mean, it's been nonstop action from lap 1. And, I mean, it's been thrilling stuff. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in with us on YouTube and on Facebook. Go ahead and drop your favorite driver. Let us know who you are rooting for and who you think's going to win this race. I mean, we've had a lot of attrition playing out. I know Brian Whitney was a favorite. Peyton Howell as well. Anthony Crownover popped in our chat as well. Appreciate that, but we've still got a lot of trucks left on the racetrack. I think 12 on the lead lap, and there's a lot that could happen. I realistically, I think there's been 8 trucks up front that, you know, could do this, and then there's 4 more on the lead lap that, well, not going to say they can't, but just haven't seen them in the right spot so far tonight as these guys double up. You haven't seen those guys in the right spot to show what they've got. Jeff Travis coming out here, staying out on 15-lap older tires than everybody else. He's going to try. But we saw how that worked with Ron Holmes, who was actually on his outside. We'll see what happens on that dive into turn number 1. So down the back straightaway. Lights are off on the pace truck. A little bit of a gap between the pace truck and the first row here.
Yeah, it looks like they're slowing it down.
Cody Porter in 4th, Matt Lee in 5th, Bladen Edwards 6th, Peyton Howell 7th, or 8th rather. 7th is Tristan Evil. All on fresher tires than the top 3. Green flag out. Jeff Travis wastes no time getting to the gas. Ron Holmes seems to spin the tires a little bit. Cody Porter's going to jump to his inside. Bladen Edwards going to follow too as well. And Ron Holmes
Matt Lee right behind him.
Out like bed sheets on a hot summer day.
Yeah, those older tires, looks like he just spun them, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, Jeff Travis now under fire from David Bush and Cody Porter. Bush to the outside, gets stuck behind that 88. Bladen Edwards gets a little bit loose on the inside of the 88.
And here comes Peyton Howell down to the inside of Bladen Edwards. Matt Lee right behind him. Tristan Evil following Matt Lee.
Jeremy Kors trying to follow suit as well. David Bush just getting stuck behind that 88 and shuffled out. So we see Bladen Edwards trying to chase down Peyton Howell now, who's gotten up into 2nd place. Howell and Porter has been one of the best battles throughout the course of the day, but Matt Lee right behind these guys, sitting in 4th place. There goes the 16 up the track just a little bit. Is that going to be enough for Matt Lee to try to get down on the inside?
Well, looks like Peyton Howell jumps to the inside of Cody Porter, going to try and make that pass going through 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's got that inside. He's got the momentum through the middle, but Porter holds strong on the outside. We'll have to see what 3 and 4 brings. That shorter line on the inside should be the way to go on fresh tires, but Cody Porter has been strong all race so far, as you see the 17 now looking to the outside of Matt Lee. Peyton Howell is going to come across the stripe and lead this time around, but we got 36 more of these things to go. So
yeah, Bladen Edwards right to the back of Peyton Howell, got him a little out of shape, but he was able to hang on, and Cody Porter still hung out to dry on that outside line by himself.
To the outside again goes Cody Porter, and almost a little bit of a block there out of the 52 Peyton Howell. Bladen Edwards all over the back bumper of the leader. Gets into the grass just a touch. Not enough to upset that truck as they are side by side now for second place.
Yeah, Cody Porter is making that outside line hang on, because we've seen it earlier. If you're on that outside line and there's a couple trucks lined up on that inside, you're going backwards. But Cody Porter is able to hang on. Peyton Howe keeps trying to basically block both lanes, it looks like, at the moment.
Yeah, he wants to keep these guys side by side behind him for as long as he can, make them wear out as much of their tires as possible. It's a little bit of a chess game, a little bit of a strategery move, but as you see the 16 sliding up and gets into the back of Cody Porter. Into the wall is Porter. That's going to bring out the caution. Man, these guys are just skating around here. 16, Bladen Edwards just lost the front end a little bit through turns 1 and 2 there, and unfortunately gets into the side of the 0-4 Anthony Crownover. We're going to take a look, see what happened here. Try to go a little bit further back there. Yeah, just loses the nose behind that 52, gets into the back
just
end.
A little bit. 16 of Bladen Edwards just floats up a little bit, gets into the side of Cody Porter, and Cody Porter just gets spun around.
Yeah, did everything he could to try to save that, but take a different look here. Yeah, just a bad deal. 16 lost the nose a little bit as Peyton Howell slid up the racetrack, and nothing Porter could do. He did a great job keeping that thing straight as he could, but some hefty right side damage to the front of that truck, and we've got some pit stops happening now as we speak. So David Bush, Jeremy Kors, Jeff Travis, Clayton White coming in. These guys potentially taking their last set of tires.
It looks like Peyton Howell, Bladen Edwards, Matt Lee, Tristan Evil, and Jeremy Garland are all going to stay out at the moment.
Probably banking on another caution here before the end of this thing, and this race has trended pretty yellow. It's like I've said, these guys are skating out here. They're having a tough time keeping the trucks under them. Some of these guys are really loose. Some of these guys are really tight. And, it's tough to prepare setup-wise for a track like this when the ends are so opposite from each other. You've almost got like a Michigan-style turn in turns 1 and 2 with a smaller radius versus a, say, a Charlotte or even, old-style Texas through 3 and 4. So it's tough to get that setup perfect here, and you're definitely seeing these guys sliding in maybe the corners that they didn't set up for.
Yeah, and it also looks like, like we said earlier, you have the tires that you kind of wore in a little bit. You drive them a little bit different than you do the fresh ones. Looks like these fresh tires are a little slicker than they're used to. Causes a little more action and a little more defensive driving at the moment.
Well, lights are still on the pace truck here.
Well, while we have a minute, let's go ahead and bring in our last sponsor, Martin Sports. Martin Sports and Great Lakes Clothing Company are family-owned business that have been serving Marquette County, Delta County, and Alger County in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, or the UP, for the past 10 years. Martin Sports and Great Lake Clothing Company continues to expand and grow with each passing year, starting from one simple embroidery machine to multiple machines, screen printing, heat pressing, custom sublimation printing, a major brand in the sim racing market, and more. Such growth has continually allowed them to offer the highest level of service to their retail team and corporate accounts. Contact them at martinsports906.com.
We definitely appreciate those guys jumping on with us. It's been a fantastic season of racing, and they've got a lot of trucks up in the field here, so appreciate them doing everything that they do for the Fuel League here, Fired Up eSports League, and being a part of these awesome races that we are so lucky to be able to broadcast and bring to you guys. This is, well, for lack of a better term, this one's been a banger.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, we've had a lot of cautions, but I mean, the racing has been insane. We haven't had a lot of guys be able to get away from each other or really have any sort of major advantage, with the exception of Cody Porter when he had those fresher tires. But we'll see how it goes. We're going to have, I think, 28 to go on this restart here.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like we're down to, we're back to Peyton Howell and Matt Lee and of the trucks we've seen up front most of the night. But Tristan Evil's making his presence felt at the moment as well.
Yeah, Tristan Evil, he's been up there all day, currently sitting in the second spot. We haven't really seen him drop out of the top 5 throughout much of this race, throughout much of the season, to be honest. Got in a little bit of trouble there earlier on, got turned sideways, so I believe he's on his last set of tires here, but sitting in second place, leading the points. He's hoping to notch a little W into that column there as he restarts on the outside of Peyton Howell here. Waiting on that pace truck to make the hard left turn. What would you say that is? It almost looks like a Silverado from the front, but...
Yeah, I was going to say it looks more like a Silverado.
Oh, there's that hard left. 7 trucks close up in the pack. A couple more damaged trucks in the back. Green flag is out. Peyton Howell with a monster start. Tristan Evil on his outside, side by side with Matt Lee for second place.
And Matt Lee's looking to clear Tristan Evil. Tristan Evil looks like he's going to jump in behind Matt Lee and continue this run.
Now hoping to keep Matt Lee behind him, but Lee, being one of the stronger ones throughout the course of this race, had a little bit of trouble, repaired some damage, and had to work his way back up through the field. Currently sitting second place, looking to the inside, and also try to defend that outside move from Tristan Evil. Slides up a little bit wider, trying to get maybe a lower exit than Peyton Howell, but he's actually going to fall into the clutches of the 17 Tristan Evil. Evil goes down to the inside for second.
Yeah, Tristan Evil looking to that inside. If he can get his nose down there, force Matt Lee up the track a little bit, and he might be able to complete that pass and catch Peyton Howell.
Well, it's been absolutely tough to step away from all of the action that we've had going on, but we're going to go ahead and, well, maybe take a minute here as Tristan Evil looks to the outside there of Peyton Howell. Now he's sideways through turn 2. Matt Lee going to get back to the inside here, but seems like a pretty good time for us to go ahead and do a tarted up session. Crank up the volume here. Hear these trucks go on by. We're going to take a minute to just let you guys enjoy the sounds of these race trucks.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Well, as we come back, the caution has just come out. Go ahead and take a look, see what happened here to bring out the caution. Oh, the 97 got turned around.
Now it looks like Peyton Howell just got into the bottom corner of him, trying to cut that corner a little bit.
Yeah, Peyton Howell down to the inside. We saw Matt Lee take the lead there, and Jeremy Kors getting in front of Peyton Howell as well. And Howell just trying to get down to the grass and gets into the back of that 97, turns him around into turn number 1. He's sliding backwards a good ways here. Gets her back straightened up, keeps down on the bottom. Excellent car control there out of the 97, Jeremy Kors. But you got to wonder if he's got a set of tires left of the pits or if he just ended up smoking that last set there.
Yeah, that'll be the question. 21 laps to go. I think if you have tires, you're going to hit the pits and take them.
Yeah, especially knowing that the, we'll see Matt Lee, Peyton Howell, Tristan Evil all coming in. David Bush staying out still. So we'll see Jeff Travis. He's also in, or out, staying out. Clayton White staying out. Ron Holmes going to stay out. But,
yeah, it looks like
this is where the fun begins.
Yeah, it looks like David Bush. It looks like David Bush pitted on lap 93 and got his last set of tires because that was his 5th pit stop. So probably didn't have much choice, and he's going to take the track position and see what he can do with it.
Yeah, as we get down to the nitty-gritty here, less than 20 laps to go here. Matt Lee is going to win this race off of pit road by a wide margin over Bladen Edwards. Peyton Howell probably has potentially a little bit of damage that they're looking at on that right front after that contact. Last thing you want to have is a tire rub when you've had such a fast truck here at the end of the race, but definitely losing time there is Peyton Howell.
Yeah, it looks like Tristan either had some damage repaired or had a speeding penalty.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, see if he has to give up some more spots as these guys get ready to restart. I believe should have one more lap of caution here and then, or 2 more laps of caution. We should be getting 1 to go, not this time, but next time by. Yeah, let's stay on the pace truck here. David Bush, your leader. Jeff Travis in 2nd. Clayton White 3rd. Ron Holmes in 4th. Matt Lee in 5th. Bladen Edwards 6th. Jeremy Garrett in 7th. Tristan Evil in 8th. Peyton Howell in 9th. Quite a ways back right now. There's Chris Mason. Currently sitting on the lead lap waiting for Peyton to go by. And there you see that 9 truck. Tyler Travis on the pit lane. A couple other guys in the pits. There's Jeremy Kors coming off the pits here. Kerry Moore has some damage. Cody Porter. Not sure what happened to him there.
Cody Porter's still in the pits from that last caution that came out on lap 92.
Okay. I was mistaken when I thought he had gotten off the pits, but tough break for him there.
Yeah, one of the fastest trucks and winds up getting turned. Looks like we'll reset with 10 trucks on the lead lap.
10 trucks on the lead lap. We're going to have 17 to go at the restart here. We appreciate once again everybody tuning in so far for what has been an absolute banger of a race, for lack of a better term. It's been amazing. It's been a lot of fun to be up in the booth here calling this race, and these guys have put on a show. It's one of the tougher tracks to drive here, and like we've said, with the way that the the turns 1 and 2 side are complete opposites of turns 3 and 4. It's really tough to nail a setup here. But saw a couple of guys being super fast throughout the course of this race. Matt Lee, Peyton Howell, Cody Porter. Obviously Porter still on pit lane, more than likely out of this race. But now we've got a couple of different names up front. Matt Lee starts in 5th behind Busch, Travis White, and Ron Holmes.
Yeah, we'll have to see what shakes out, as looks like Peyton Howell was given an EOL for that penalty there. So see if he can come back. Has one of the fastest trucks we've seen all night. But now he's going to have to go back through the field.
Yeah, 18 laps isn't going to be a lot of time to do it, but if any truck can do it, I would imagine that's one that's going to have the speed. Will we make it to the end without another caution? 10 trucks lined up, 3 more stragglers, kind of. A couple of them with damage, obviously that 52 with the EOL for the contact there. Pace truck makes the hard left turn. David Busch lead him down. Green flag is out. He gets a nice run. We got, looks like Tristan Evil
3 wide.
Tristan Evil jumped to the top side and all the way up top, trying to get around that 33. Knows he's on older tires and gets shoved up almost to the top seam there. David Busch in front of Matt Lee, who's gotten into 2nd place now.
It looks like Tristan Evil's on a mission. He knew he had the faster truck, and he was just going to make it work no matter what happened.
Yeah, unfortunately lost a little bit of time, but he did get around that 33. This is a huge draft right here in the middle of this pack here. We've got 5 trucks under a blanket. Matt Lee trying to chase down David Busch. That gap's about 1/4 of a second there. Clayton White slides up right in front of the 16 in contact. Clayton White gets turned around into Tristan Evil. Evil's around. Clayton White's around. The 7 of Jeremy Guerin gets into them. Man.
Looks like Peyton Howell was able to get around him. Slowed up just enough.
Turns 1 and 2 is just so tough here, man. It seems
like
so inviting when you're coming up off the turn to
well, we
get
had
on the gas and
4 or
just
5
go.
trucks there, but you got 4 trucks, 5 trucks within a couple feet. One little inch, and that's the end of your race, man.
We'll back it up just a little bit more, try to get a better angle here. But I think what we're going to see here, let me change the...
looks like Bladen Edwards got a run and got right to the back bumper of Clayton White.
Yeah, I believe Clayton came up off the bottom, slides up in front of the 16. 16's trying to cross him over potentially, just gets into that left rear, and we've seen in all sorts of NASCAR cars that left rear, it's a no-no zone. You don't want to hit that spot. It's going to loosen up the truck in front of you.
And Tristan White tries to get around Clayton and Tristan Evil tried to get around Clayton White and just couldn't do it. And Jeremy Garland, no place to go.
Sent down to the inside wall. The 7 truck absolutely nowhere to go. Bladen Edwards coming into the pits to deal with some of that damage. Clayton White obviously in the pits as well. There's that 9 truck almost squeezing by and gets tagged.
Yep,
Tyler
Clayton
Travis
just slid down.
there.
Looks like Peyton Howell just stopped and said, I'll wait.
Well, it's not a bad call, especially when you don't know where everybody's going. You got trucks scattered around everywhere. But I got to say, this is probably not what David Busch wanted to see, having Matt Lee restarting right on his outside.
No, David Busch must have found something, because he was running probably the best he's ran all race. Looks like that fresh air gave his truck a little bit of life.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out here. Less than 15 laps to go right now. 14 coming to 13. And, well, with 10 to go, this is only going to pick up in intensity.
Yeah, we've got David Busch, Matt Lee, Jeff Travis, Jeremy Kors, and Peyton Howell in the top 5.
Yeah, this race has definitely seen its fair share of comers and goers, and a lot of that has to do with the attrition we've seen. Texas being as tough as it is, we mentioned how, you know, we'll hammer that point. How the track being different on opposite ends really throws these guys for a loop. But turn 2 is absolutely treacherous. We've seen a lot of guys getting under another guy or getting close to another truck and pushing just a little bit too hard, making a little bit of contact. Like I said, it gets so wide coming up off of 2. It seems really inviting to get up on the gas and try to use up that racetrack. But Texas has always been notorious for their transition coming up off of 2 being not quite abrupt, but the banking ends before the corner's totally done.
Yeah, especially 1 and 2, it's that flatter corner, so you're definitely not used to coming off the flat corner into a flat stretch. So
I believe we get the 1 to green this time by, and David Busch really hoping for another perfect restart. It's going to be a tall task to keep Matt Lee behind him for 11 laps, but not impossible. I believe these guys came in on the same lap. No, Matt Lee came in 12 laps more recent. That's right.
definitely going to be a shootout to the finish. Because you got the Matt Lee and Jeremy Coors on that outside line, and then you have Peyton Howell back there in 5th as well. So David Busch is going to want to try and do exactly what he did last time and get that big run off the start-finish line there and hopefully carry it to the end.
Yeah, he's got to hope he can hold that bottom and take enough air away from the front of that Ford truck so that he can, try to keep him behind him in the corners and not let him get that toe down the straightaways. But it's going to be tough, especially with 3 and 4 being almost wide open. We're in for a pretty good show here as you see Clayton White, Jeff Travis, and Kerry Moore coming up off the pits there. Looks like Tristan Evil down there on the inside there. 1 lap down here. Try to minimize the damage if he can. Maybe gain a few more spots in case there's another incident. There's Bladen Edwards at the back of the field.
Looks like we have 8 trucks on the lead lap.
Yep, Bladen Edwards behind a couple of those lap trucks after causing the contact there, but David Busch on the gas early. Jeff Travis is not. Matt Lee is going to be able to get right in behind him. Peyton Howell looks to the inside of Jeff Travis. Gets up into 3rd place. I tell you what, if you're Matt Lee, you want to make this pass as quick as you possibly can. And there he goes, looking to the outside. He's got to run up on the outside off of 2. Peyton Howell trying to use this toe, trying to utilize the draft as David Busch is not going to give an inch. Actually, yeah, he's going to have to yield here. Doesn't quite have the entry that he wanted. Now Peyton is going to get a huge run coming up off of turn number 4 to move to the inside. Take 2nd place away. We've got a race on our hands. 2 of the 3 fastest trucks are now 1-2.
Yeah, Peyton Howell made pretty quick work of David Busch there with those pressure tires. Now we'll see if Peyton Howell can catch Matt Lee. These two started our race up front, and they're looking to finish it out between the 2 of them.
Yeah, and like we said, the tire game is out the window. We've got 8 laps to go this time around, or 9 laps to go, rather, this time around. Peyton Howell is all over the back bumper of that 04 truck. Matt Lee has been a master of holding that lead, but Peyton Howell getting right up to the back bumper. Gets a nice run up off of 2. Looks to the inside. Is he going to be able to get the nose down there? No, not this time. Going to try to widen his arc in 3 and 4. Matt Lee gets a little bit loose there on the apron and doesn't seem to slow him down too much, but Peyton's going to try again. Going down the front straightaway.
Peyton Howell's going to get right to his back bumper here. Try and set it up. That outside pass.
We've got to assume Peyton's not going to be too willing to go down to the grass like he was before, having caused a collision before. And
No, it looks like they're closing in on a lap truck at Clayton White there too.
I'll have to see if that plays into effect here, if any dirty air. No, Clayton White gets out of the way respectfully, and these guys race on. 7 laps to go here at Texas in the Sticker Cabana, Texas two-step, 125. Peyton Howell trying to ring that bottom. Touches the white line through the middle of 1 and 2. Just about a truck length off the back bumper of that Ford truck.
That looks like he gets close, but can't close that gap any further.
This should be a good angle to see just where the 52 truck is potentially faster. And you see coming up off of 4, a nice draft, a nice toe. Kerry Moore has jumped to the pits, potentially a problem there that didn't bring out a caution, but Kerry Moore looks to be retiring from this race right through the center of the corner. Peyton Howell with a nice run. There's the 7 of Jeremy Guerin getting out of the way, 6 of Chris Mason as well. Respectful competition out of these lapped cars as we go through the last 5 laps, coming to 5 laps to go this time around.
It looks like he's just getting towed around there. See if maybe Peyton Howell's just studying him a little bit to see where he might be able to make this pass.
Yeah, getting right to the back bumper. Just not quite enough up off of 2 this time. About a truck length separates these two once again. The race for 3rd is on as well. Jeremy Kors, David Bush, and Jeff Travis all trying to take that spot away and get a podium position here. David Bush holds that position right now, but Jeff Travis and Jeremy Kors all over his back bumper. 4 laps to go, and Matt Lee has nothing but a rear view mirror full of a red truck, a 52 truck, Peyton Howell.
Match each other move for move. You see Peyton Howell basically following that same exact line. Wonder if he's going to try and close it up and pass him with a couple laps left to go. He's going to do it. He has to do it quick.
Last time around, Peyton Howell was 1/100th of a second quicker. This time around, advantage goes to Matt Lee by 7/100ths of a second. And you can see that gap starting to increase with 3 laps to go. Coming to 2 laps to go this time around. Peyton Howell's going to have to try to make one last push as Jeremy Kors looked to be towards the inside, or maybe Jeff Travis was on the inside of Jeremy there. But a big run coming up on David Bush here. Can he get 3rd place away from David Bush? He looks high. Now he's going to try high once again. Fresher tires on the 97 of Jeremy Kors. He's going to try the outside. Sliding up is this 11 and the 88, almost getting into the back of that 97 here. Matt Lee holds about a 1/4 of a second lead over Peyton Howell down the back straightaway with white flag coming out this time around. Does Peyton Howell have anything left to try to make one final push through 1 and 2? There's no lap trucks between them.
No, he's got to do something. He's got to do it quick. We've seen him get to the black bumper, but Matt Lee has been able to pull away again.
Oh, he pushes really hard.
Oh, slides up the track.
Man, he
looks like he was trying to make his last ditch effort.
Yeah, he dove it in there trying to get everything he could there on the entry and just got loose, slid up a little bit. But Matt Lee is going to survive the pressure. He's going to survive the push of Peyton Howell. Matt Lee comes up off of turn number 4 and is going to win at Texas. David Bush trying to hold off Jeremy Kors there on the inside, and he does it. David Bush there in 3rd. Jeremy Kors is going to have to settle for 4th place there. And
3/100ths of a second.
Man.
David Bush.
What a phenomenal last couple of laps. What a phenomenal race. Matt Lee comes away with the win, but even though he had one of the fastest trucks out there, that was the furthest thing from easy for him.
Definitely. I mean, he knew Peyton Howell had to do something. I mean, if Peyton would be able to stick that corner, it would have been real close for that lead.
Yeah, let's go back and take a look-see here at that last lap, that last-ditch effort there from Peyton Howell going down into turn number 1. Just dives it down to the bottom. That's a poor angle. Yeah, it gets
just a little bit too much. Hits that apron, bounces up the track.
Exactly, yeah. Gets that apron and doing absolutely everything he can to try to win that race. And Matt Lee comes away with it, burning it down on the front straightaway. And
Let's see if we can get our third place finisher, David Bush, in here.
yeah.
Hey, David, Mike, and Liam up in the booth.
What's up?
Well, not much. So these last few laps, looks like you had a rearview mirror full of Jeremy Coors.
Absolutely. That guy can wheel.
Well, congratulations on your third place finish.
Thank you.
Oh, want to kind of walk us through those last laps?
Well, I know I was on a different strategy than all the top guys. I was just trying mostly to get the bonus point for leading the lap, but then a few more cautions happened, so I held up there as long as I could, and that was my goal, was just to get as high as I could by the end of it.
Well, that was a phenomenal run at the end, able to hold off, Jeremy Coors by 3/100ths of a second. Anybody you want to thank on that truck?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Moonlight guys for building the great setups, Martin Sports, Lunatic Racing, and their partner at Indy Auto Sports, and then all the Lunatic guys that were racing tonight, doing as much as we can.
Well, congratulations again on your third place finish. We look forward to maybe talking to you again at Richmond.
I hope so.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
That was our third place finisher, David Bush.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and bring in second place finisher Peyton Howell here. Peyton, Liam, and Mike up in the booth. Second place, man. What do you think you needed to try to get that lead away from?
I think that I needed to not blow up because I was sitting right behind him, trying to get to his bumper, and started blowing up and had to lift off of it, and he got me, and then went into 1 and 2, and I just gave it all I got to get to him. Wasn't gonna wreck him, teammate, but wanted to try to get to his bumper and give him a bump and run for the win.
Yeah, rock on, man. We saw that dive bomb into turn 1. We also saw you come up through the field after a little bit of contact with the 97 on the front straightaway. What happened there?
Yeah, we had been racing in a big group, and I got pushed to the fence by just going for the lead and crossed him over off of 4, and I think it was just both of us going for the same spot. I didn't mean to get into him, Jeremy, teammate, building these sets. He built a rocket ship for tonight, and I definitely screwed his race over. I definitely didn't mean to do that.
Well, he recovered all right. Still finished 4th place, but fantastic finish from you here in second. Who do you want to thank on that truck for such a strong performance?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody at Lunatic, Jeremy especially for building the set, Moonlight Speed Concepts. If you need any sets, just go to moonlightspeed.com. You can get a bunch of NASCAR sets and super late model short tracks, dirt sets as well. Martin Sports, they've been on the truck for a long time. Nerditudes and RDM Truck Solutions.
Rock on, Peyton. Well, congratulations once again on your second place finish. Fantastic performance out of you, and we hope you have a great night. Hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
Yep, thank y'all for the broadcast.
All right, that was Peyton Howell, our second place finisher.
Let's see if we can get Matt Lee up in here. Hey, Matt, Mike, and Liam up in the booth.
How's it going, guys?
Oh, good. Well, congratulations on your win here at Texas. Want to walk us through those last few laps when you had a windshield or a rearview mirror full of Peyton?
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy race. He didn't look too good in dirty air, so I was really just driving out of the mirror quite a bit, trying to keep him in my dirty air. Not give up the inside to him.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job of that, holding that inside lane. What'd you put in the fuel tank? I think I asked you the same thing at Vegas, but come on, man. How you so quick?
Well, a lot of laps. Really good track for me, and you know, unfortunate I smacked the wall early on there. It real
How,
dumb mistake.
how much repair time did that cost you? We saw you scrape that wall. We didn't think it was too bad, but we saw you lose some time there on the pits.
Yeah, it was like 14 seconds. You know, it was enough to definitely slow me down out in the lead,
Mm.
and just really struggled in dirty air. I mean, Peyton out front in the clean air was definitely pretty quick. We're on the same setup, so definitely really even, and that little bit of damage hurt me compared to him, and Cody was really good there in the middle of the race as well, so.
Well, yeah. Anybody want to thank on that truck there?
Yeah, definitely got to thank the guys at Martin Sports for everything they do. Anyone looking for sim racing gloves, jerseys, anything like that, check them out at martinsports906.com. Moonlight Setup Shop, Nerditudes. I think that's about it.
All right. Well, congrats on the win again, and maybe we'll talk to you after Richmond next week.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that was Matt Lee, our race winner, joining us up in here in Victory Lane. Go ahead and throw the results up here. Working on it. There we go. Sorry about that. So Matt Lee wins the race by about half a second over Peyton Howell, who was all over his back bumper throughout the last couple of laps. David Bush holds off a late charge by Jeremy Kors to round out the podium. And then Jeff Travis right behind them. Ron Holmes on a couple of different strategies staying out. Comes home 6th. Clayton White recovers from a couple of crashes 7th. Jeremy Garand, Kerry Moore, and Bladen Edwards rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, 11th, Tristan Evil, our points leader at the moment. Chris Mason in 12th, Cody Porter after a late race accident comes home in 13th. Tyler Travis in 14th. Tim Henderson in 15th. 16th is Derek Rice. 17th, Daniel Hendry had a real fast 71 truck, but wound up in a couple accidents. Anthony Crownover as well in 18th. Chase Johnson and Brian Whitney rounds out the top 20.
Well, overall, it was a fantastic race here at Texas. The racing action was incredible, and we saw these guys really struggling for probably the first time all year to keep the trucks under them. We saw a lot of guys getting underneath trucks and sliding up just a little bit too much. We saw some guys going for the same real estate and causing problems in that sense. But overall, you know, it just goes to show how tough this track is and how on edge these truckers are. I thought this race was absolutely insane. It was kind of a weird change of pace as we're not used to many cautions in this series, but we saw attrition play a huge factor in it, and you know, that's a part of racing.
Yeah, I mean, when you have this many guys running this fast of setups, I mean, they're going to be side by side, and it's just a product of good racing. I mean, sometimes it's green, sometimes you get a couple cautions, but all in all, it was a good race. I look forward to seeing what these guys can do on the short track of Richmond.
Yeah, that's right. Next week we head to the short track of Richmond, Virginia, 3/4 mile, and well, if you guys thought the beating and banging was intense this week, just wait until next week. We take about half the track length off. These guys are going to be bumper to bumper throughout most of it. So we hope to see you guys next week. Tune in with us here on ESBN's YouTube channel, the SRM Facebook page. And from all of us here at ESBN and SRM, we thank you once again for tuning in. And we hope you guys have a fantastic night.